With the injury to Jordan Travis, is all hope lost for Florida State football? The play by their quarterback Jordan Travis this year has really put Florida State back on the map, as they have had an unbelievable year with a record of 11-0, 8-0 in conference play, 6-0 at home, 4-0 on the road. And Jordan Travis has played an amazing football. So far, Jordan Travis this year, 207 out of 324 with a 63.9 completion percentage, passing for 2,755 yards and a total of 20 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Jordan Travis was playing with a quarterback rating of 154.5, but all of that came to a devastating halt last week against Northern Alabama, where he had a gruesome injury where he ended up breaking his ankle or his foot. It was one of those injuries that when you see it first on tape, that's the only time you want to see it again. And it's just a devastating blow to this football program, this fan base that was just riding high, and a lot of people thought was legitimately one of the top 4 teams in the country and could make a push for a national championship. Now the question is, what does this do for Florida State? Not only of their chances of winning a national championship, but is there a chance they don't even belong in the college football playoffs? That's what we'll talk about coming up. But before we get into this quick video, guys, if you would, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up. It always helps out the video. And subscribe, join the team, join the fam, and let's grow this thing for more sports content. So let's get into this video now. All right, so here's the thing. There is a log jam of great teams at the top who are vying for a position to be in the college football playoffs. All year long, Florida State has been in the top 4. They've been that team that has been consistent all year, and that they look like they were a lock to get into the college football playoffs. But now with the injury to Jordan Travis, there's a lot of people who are questioning that. Of course, there's a lot of football left to be played. Florida State will have the opportunity to continue their dominance and beat Florida this weekend. They're going to have to do it with their backup quarterback. But then, of course, you've got an opportunity to win another game in the ACC championship. And Ohio State and Michigan are playing. But there is just a logjam of great teams at the top. You've got Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, and then Washington. All of those teams are undefeated. And then you've got some great one-loss teams in Oregon, Texas, Alabama, and Louisville. So as you can tell, there's really not a whole lot of room for error for Florida State going down the stretch. They really need to beat Florida, and they need to win the ACC championship game. If you lose one game and you don't have your starting quarterback, I just feel like the committee is not going to vote Florida State in as a one-loss team over the other one-loss teams who do have a healthy quarterback. So with that being said, it's easy to say they need to win out, but there's people out there who believe that even if Florida State wins out, that they might get snubbed over a one-loss team just simply because they don't have their star quarterback. And I don't know if this is right or wrong. Honestly, I feel like it's wrong because the whole team of that Florida State, it wasn't just the quarterback. Of course, he's the leader of it. He's the guy who steers the ship, you might want to say. But that is a team effort to be able to get to an undefeated season. But when you're talking about the committee, they're not going to always look at it that way. Just think about Ohio State versus Michigan. Both these teams are undefeated, and one of them's going to have one loss after this weekend. Do you end up putting a one-loss Michigan over an undefeated Florida State team in the postseason with Jordan Travis being out? That's going to be the big argument. Or what about a one-loss Oregon team over an undefeated Florida State without their quarterback? Oregon's one loss comes to Washington, who's undefeated and is probably going to be in the college football playoffs as long as they can keep their undefeated streak alive. Oregon's got a great resume. I mean, that's their only loss, and they still got their quarterback in Bo Nix, who is a Heisman candidate. I mean, all of these things start to build up for a case that they should be in over a Florida State simply because they're healthy. Now, of course, this may take care of itself with the Pac-12 championship game. Maybe Oregon loses again in it, and then they're just not even out. But then it could create a whole nother issue if Oregon does win the Pac-12 championship, and now Washington has a one-loss. There's just a lot of things that can go on from now to the end of the season that's going to make this college football season just crazy. And you do kind of wonder, is it going to lose a little bit of luster next year or the year after that when they go to that 12-team format? Or are we just talking about the craziness who's trying to fit into the 12? I don't know. That's another video down this road. But when you're looking at Florida State, I think Florida State fans have to hope for some craziness going down the road. They need some of these undefeated teams to have an upset loss. They need some of these teams with one losses to then become two-loss teams. You still got to think about a one-loss Alabama team who's just itching and fighting for their way. Talk about if Alabama finds a way to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, there's no way they're kicking Alabama out of that college football playoff, and there's no way they're kicking just a one-loss Georgia team out of that playoff. That way their one loss would be to Alabama in the SEC championship game. That would devastate Florida State's chances. So what is most important for Florida State? Of course, it goes without saying. Florida State just needs to keep winning. They need to beat the Florida Gators. That is always a rivalry game, and you kind of have to throw sometimes the records out. And then they need to win the ACC championship game. Their ultimate case has to be, we are an undefeated team. While, yes, we don't have our starting quarterback, look at our body of work. We deserve to be in the college football playoffs. And if I'm being honest, and that is the case, I don't see how you can deny them, even with a Jordan Travis being out. But if Florida State loses a game, guys, it is over. And that definitely cannot be in the books. There's no way a one-loss Florida State team gets into the college football playoffs without their starting quarterback. I'm just telling you right now, if Florida State does go undefeated, it is still going to be dicey. I could see one of these one-loss teams that's had their one loss to a top 5, a top 10 program, but they are healthy, get in over Florida State. I know Florida State fans do not want to hear that. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Jordan Travis injury completely throwing a monkey wrench into the college football playoffs. Always, guys, appreciate you watching. Stay humble, stay kind. Peace.